So before we wrap up today, I would like to hear a bit more about your sort of view about what do up-and-coming marketers need to consider, those who are looking to develop and drive their career in marketing. And maybe the last point is sort of, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here, what's your sort of outlook for marketing and marketing profession over the next sort of 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, for the up-and-coming marketer, I think, you know, back to our earlier point about a bit of formal training, I think for me, the one area I would focus on is get square in your own heads that there's kind of 3 phases to marketing. And this helps my MBA students, and I think it helps most up-and-coming marketers. There's the first phase, which is really all about diagnosis, understanding, researching, segmentation, understanding the market you've been dropped into. I think that's the first challenge, and I think building your skills there is important. The next step is often completely missing, which is marketing strategy. And we get a lot of conflicting advice on this. So marketing strategy isn't tactical. You can't have a pricing strategy. You can't have a digital strategy. Lots of people do. It doesn't make any sense. Strategy is really about answering only 3 questions in marketing, which is the targeting question, the positioning question, and the objectives question. And those 3 questions are, you know, neutral from tactics. They precede them, and they're built on that diagnosis you've already done. Yeah. And if a young marketer can come with a decent answer to who am I targeting, what's my position, and what are my objectives, you'd be in the top 5% in this country at least. And then last is tactical skills, where we tend to focus most. I think you've got to have a broad tactical capability. You have to understand about all the different range of levers you can pull. I would advise most junior marketers to obviously build their skill sets in digital comms, but don't ignore so-called traditional comms. It's all comms. And I'd also remind, you know, emerging marketers that really comms is only about a quarter of our tactical pull. So we tend to be obsessed with communications. Learn how to do good pricing. It's a more important skill. Understand distribution and how to manage distribution. And product development still falls under our remit. So I think, you know, we have many more tactical options than I think are often apparent. Yeah. And if you can build your career around being able to do a decent diagnosis, pretty good strategy, play across the different tactical levers, you're going to be among the more advanced marketers out there because it's a low bar. You know, joining the AMI and learning and developing yourself means you will be in that top 10%. It's not a pleasant thing to say, but we aren't, you know, surrounded by super experienced, super knowledgeable marketers. And that's a great thing. If you can get some experience and knowledge and develop yourself, man, you don't want everyone to. I mean, we have a worse marketing culture here than in America. That's great news if you're a good marketer in Australia. You know what I mean? You want less competition for the big jobs. I mean, I fervently believe that although you and I might want to make the marketing culture and professionalism better in Australia, if you're a 30-year-old up-and-coming marketer, you don't want it to improve. We're not curing cancer. You want it to stay pretty bad so you can stand out. And I can understand that point of view.
I think it's excellent advice about, particularly around the more strategic focus. And as an observation, there are so many marketers who are ready to jump straight into the tactical solution.
That's it.
And a lot of them think they're actually being strategic.
That's right.
There's as you point out, there's quite a misconception about what strategy is, and I think the really strong point you're making there is about develop the strategy from a sound knowledge base, have some really strong insight, inform the knowledge base, and then everything else drops out of that. So, spot on.
You see it with good marketers, right? They look at all the executional stuff and they go back to the strategy and they say, does this deliver my strategy? Whereas with less experienced, less good marketers, to your point, Andrew, they're straight into tactics and they're sailing down the river. You know?
Yeah. And that's when they end up in all sorts of problems when the execution just doesn't work.
That's it.
So.